I'm pleased that Administrator Pistol could join us today to discuss TSA's screening partnership program. I'd like to also extend a welcome to our second panel of witnesses. It is my hope that some of the myths and rhetoric surrounding this program can be put to bed today. By this hearing title, my colleagues on the other side of the aisle have implied that the current use of federal screeners impedes job growth. There is no proof in law or fact for that assertion. The number of screeners at an airport is determined by an analysis of the risk, threat, and volume at that airport. These factors will not change based on whether the screeners are private contractors or federal employees. So the number of jobs will not change based on whether the screeners are public or private sector employees. Under the Republican suggestion, the only thing that will change is whether the jobs will be public or private. We know that both types of screeners are effective and face challenges, follow the same rules, and receive the same training. We also know that private screeners cost up to 9% more than federal screeners. We know that public and private screeners can join unions. So the only real difference is cost. What do we know is why the Republicans seem to be willing to pay more for the same service, how doing so will create jobs. If the added cost of taxpayers fails to convince you that this program should not be expanded, consider that it takes us back to a model similar to the one in place during 9/11. Administrator Pistol performed a full review of TSA's policies and practices and determined that the SPP should not be expanded unless there was a clear and substantial advantage to doing so. Contrary to claims made at the time, the administrator did not shut down the program. Rather, he set a reasonable standard for expansion. That standard was met last week by a low-risk seasonal airport in Montana, and TSA approved their application. TSA did so because the net impact was advantageous to government. On the same day, TSA denied the applications of 2 airports because they failed to demonstrate an operational, security, or cost advantage over federalized screening applications. Both of these directions are perfectly logical. Regrettably, this hearing comes a day late and $1 short for the committee. Last week, the FAA Reauthorization Act was passed by the House and soon will be signed into law. As described by Subcommittee Ranking Member Jackson Lee, that aviation safety bill contained a security provision within this committee's sole jurisdiction, altering the law controlling the SPP. In summarizing this provision, it amounts to a congressional attempt to micromanage the SPP by stripping the administrator of his discretion. Without this committee having held one hearing, markup, or debate on the changes proposed, Homeland Security members were denied a seat at the table by the Speaker when the provisions went to Congress. Chairman King and I sent a letter to the Speaker just 2 weeks ago requesting that jurisdiction over DHS be consolidated. Apparently, under this leadership, even when you have jurisdiction, you get left out. With that, Mr. Chairman, I yield back.